This is Agents of Socialization Part 2. As we discussed earlier, we reached the third agent of socialization, which is school, and we discussed for the three agents both the direct effects and the indirect effects. Now, to the fourth agent, which is, before moving to the fourth agent, in school, we have two types of curriculum, visible curriculum and hidden curriculum. Visible curriculum are obviously the objectives, the tasks that we need to accomplish. When students go to school, they're expected to know how to read, how to write, how to spell, how to solve mathematical and arithmetical problems, how to draw, how to play sports, all of the things that are normally expected from anyone who goes to school. Now, the new part is the hidden curriculum. What do I mean by hidden curriculum? It is the unofficial learned aspects like discipline, order, cooperation, group conformity, and readiness to the real world. When kids go to KG, day 1, week 1, or the first month, they're still not disciplined. They do not know that we need to line up first, for example, or that when you walk into class, you need to put your bags aside and get out your pencil cases and books, for example. So they learn discipline, order. As you grow up, as the years pass by, you learn cooperation, as in projects, in classwork, in standing in line so you can buy from the canteen. You learn to cooperate, or in playing sports, you learn to cooperate with your classmates. Group conformity. If you remember, this word conformity means that you are bound to a certain group and you agree to its rules. If you're going to make friends in school, you have small groups of friends, so you learn to stick to that group. You learn to abide by the rules and you acquire group conformity. And finally, readiness to the real world. You take an exam quickly. You need to sit down. You need to prepare yourself. You have a certain time. If you waste this time, you're not given any. If you make mistakes, you might fail. So, as much as the school tries, they try to make you ready and they try to get you ready to the real world where there are no chances, no second chances, and if you make a mistake, you get punished for it. So, to the fourth agent of socialization, which is peers or friends. This is the only group that is not controlled by adults. The past groups, family, school, and religion, they were all controlled by adults, someone who is older than the child himself. This group is not controlled by adults. It's the only group that's not controlled by adults. Now, the direct effects of this group that you are engaged in a give and take relationship. With your friends, you deal with them. You talk, they listen. They talk, you listen. You go out, one drives, one sits down, one goes and buys something, the other one pays money. So you are engaged in a give and take relationship. Children experience conflict, competition, and cooperation. And you experience self-direction. Sometimes you have to think with yourself and direct yourself. Are these good friends or not? Do I love them or not? Do they need me or not? So you deal with yourself. You direct yourself to what you want. Indirect effects, you start making your own decisions. Your family will not know your friends the way you do. So you start making your own decisions about what to buy them, for example, if they have their birthdays, whether to go out or not, is your friend lying to you or not. So you start making your own decisions. You experiment new ways of thinking, feeling, and behaving. These are not your parents. These are not your teachers. These are not, for example, the people that you see in the church or the mosque. They're not adults. They're the same age as you are. So you have a new way of thinking about them, new way of feelings toward them, and new ways of behaving and dealing with them. Finally, you develop social flexibility and you learn to be different from your parents. You are flexible. You do not need to stick to their opinion. You do not need to prove yourself to them. You do not need to be a good person in front of them. You can be whatever you want and you don't have to be the same way as your parents. So you develop your own social image and your own social flexibility. Finally, media. Mass media, these are the means of communication designed to reach the general population, such as TV, radio, newspapers, magazines, movies, books, and internet. So these are the means of communication. It's not targeted to one person or one group. It's designed to reach the whole population. Now, the other groups of socialization had direct and indirect. With media, there are no direct and indirect. Instead, we have positive and negative effects. The positive effects is that it displays a role model for children to imitate. Superheroes, doctors, good people, so we can display a positive role model for children to imitate. If you need them to act like a certain person, you would let them watch a certain movie or a cartoon and they will imitate whatever they see. It adds new ideas to children about values of society, caring and helping adults crossing the street. They can all see that through cartoons or advertisements or TVs, YouTube, magazines, whatever ideas we need to put, we can put it on the mass media. They will directly imitate. On the other hand, there are negative effects. Violence is maximized on TV more than real life. If you watch any movie, whether it's a romance, fiction, science fiction, non-fiction, a classic, or an action movie, any type of movie now has a certain percentage of violence, which is much more than we see on the street in the real life. So by the time they are teenagers and adults, they're exposed to a high percentage of violence, which can cause them to be more violent, especially if they watch a lot of TV and they are introverts and they do not interact with people. And this violence can sometimes lead to depression. Now, the second thing is propaganda is considered as a hidden factor that influences behavior on the long term. Propaganda is a type of info or media that is designed for a certain opinion. For example, we need to make a propaganda that using certain types of soap would make your life easier, healthier, less germs. So any channel that you open, any video that you open on YouTube, any magazine that you open, you will find the same brand, the same idea, which is, for example, you need to buy this product. So if the media wants something and they need to use propaganda, it will happen. It's a hidden factor and they will use it, and it influences behavior on the long term. Now, finally, some images are presented on the mass media. They are highly distorted. They're not real. They're not like the real image. Like, for example, usually in movies, a detective and a police officer are really, like famous, and it's what's the word? They live a really high life full of, chasing and a very high, high profile life. In real life, a detective can be a normal person as well as a police officer, and it's not this interesting. For example, housewives are usually presented in TV as they do nothing, sit at home, watch TV, they're careless, they're dumb. So, some images are presented on the mass media, they're distorted, they're not like real life. This was the end of the lesson. If you have any questions, please write them down for our session on Thursday, and we will discuss them then. Hope you understood everything. See you on Thursday, and stay home and stay safe. Bye.